six people are the ones who had a very interesting panel discussion right now. As we have just half an hour for the panelists to say some ideas that they will take home from today, and also a few questions and interviews later. So I think it would be best if we start quickly, and Kadri as a host, please.
Thank you, and welcome everyone. The Tallinn-Helsinki tunnel has been dreamed for decades, and thanks to the technological advancement, technically, we are closer to the realization of this dream than ever before. But however, there are still very difficult decisions ahead of us, and because this will be a very expensive investment. We don't know right now yet how to finance it, and it is not clear how realistic it would be. In 2026, Estonia will be connected to Central Europe via Rail Baltica, and we must not stop there. In order to achieve big things, you have to dream big, and we know that right now already almost 10 million people annually travel between Tallinn and Helsinki, and with fixed link tunnel, this number would increase up to 23 million. So currently it's 10 million, it will grow up to 23, and estimated cargo volumes grow up to 8.4 million tons per year. The rail tunnel cost benefit analysis carried out under the Finest Link project found that the tunnel would contribute to the development of a twin city and the emergence of a metropolis area that will be populated by 3 million inhabitants. And of course, the benefit will be free movement for people, goods and services. This fast transport connection will boost the economy and competitiveness of our region. And as travel time is significantly shorter, approximately 30 minutes, the travel costs will also decrease, and the labor force achievable for businesses will increase. But the studies show that the overall cost for the fixed link is around 16 billion euros. And if we look at this project purely as a transport project, then the rail tunnel would not be economically viable. But we have to consider also the positive economic impacts it has on the region. And as I mentioned before, right now we don't have ready solutions for financing. We don't have ready solutions for future organization. But we know that this is a topic that we will discuss among ourselves. And this summer we will have two governments meeting in Helsinki in the beginning of May. And right now we already know that future studies and discussions will also give us sort of conclusion before actual digging can take place. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I give the floor to Anne.
Thank you, Kadri. I would like to express my gratitude to the people who have made the study and the survey, and it has given us a lot of new information on how the Tallinn tunnel could be explored further, how we could develop a link between Helsinki and Tallinn. At the same time, from the Finnish government's perspective, it is about looking at our logistics and our passenger transport system as a total. We are exploring how the Arctic and the northern parts of Europe can be connected in the core network with Europe, how we can make sure that the development is between the cities, between the regions, but it's also a question of a larger holistic picture where we are looking at the transport system and network as a total. From that perspective, the Finnish government, together with the Norwegian government, has commissioned a survey and a review on the Arctic Rail, which is a part of this picture. We are also looking into the rail infrastructure network within Finland, how we can explore our labor markets, how we can provide more competitiveness. We are looking at our logistics flows. And from that perspective, we would like to see the Arctic Rail, the Finest Link, and Rail Baltica as a picture that could combine both people and goods from the northern parts of Finland and Norway all the way down to Central Europe. This is something that we are exploring. At the same time, I agree with Kadri on the aspects that most of these infrastructure investments in our countries, which have low populations, we partly have very large areas and large distances, will always have very low values on cost benefit. So we have to look at other aspects, on social aspects, on the housing market influence, on the labor market, but also on aspects that are related to climate change, to the environment, but also to safety and security. And from those perspectives, we see as the next steps that we need to have discussions with, between the Finnish and Estonian governments. We need to further explore with the cities of Tallinn and Helsinki, but we also need to have the European Commission on board. This is also important for Finland, since we do need to have our core network extended in our country. So we need also a commitment on that part to take this further. So it's still a lot of work ahead. We are looking at this with expecting, with high ambitious point of view, and we are willing also to put ourselves on the line to work for this, to gain a true picture that we then can defend and also work on the finance for. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mayor?
Thank you. I think that it was a very interesting conference because we now know more numbers about tunnel. I think that I'm glad that happened in Tallinn, and now we can see what step we can do, what will be the next step. But I am also glad to welcome in Tallinn Mr. Jan Vabavuori, who is the mayor of the city of Helsinki. It was first time we meet each other after our starting of mayorship, and I'm glad that we have a possibility after this press conference also have a meeting together and discuss about things that's going on already between Tallinn and Helsinki and how we will go on with future with our partnership. So I think that for Tallinn, and I hope also for Helsinki, it's a great day.
You can easily define Helsinki and Tallinn as a twin city already today. We have 9 million passengers between our cities each and every year. There are thousands of Finnish entrepreneurs living in Estonia. There are tens of thousands of Estonians working on the northern side of the Gulf. There are close cultural ties and so on. From the point of view of a twin city, you could not imagine anything better than a tunnel between our cities. So you could say that it's difficult to find anyone who would be more in favor of this tunnel than the mayors of Helsinki and Tallinn. But then there are some challenges. And the biggest one is certainly that it's a quite expensive exercise. And that's why I fully agree with our minister that you have to put this in a wider, bigger perspective and picture. Especially taking into account that we expect the EU Commission to play a big role in the financing, as well as the Finnish and Estonian governments. Today it's an important step forward. Now we have a solid basis for the future discussion. We have the first proper survey where we have seen the first draft of the most important facts we need in order to carry this exercise forward. It's a long journey, but from the point of view of the city of Helsinki, I can guarantee that we are determined and we are committed. We know it's a difficult task, but the world is full of difficult tasks. This is one of the most interesting, if not the most interesting, difficult tasks we have.
Thank you. It's very big and important project for Harju County and Harju municipalities because the Estonian economy are growing up in here, north part of Estonia, and Harju municipalities are in here. Of course, today we have flying context, ferry context, but what we need the speed. We need much more speed between Tallinn, Helsinki, and there is the market questions, and of course the gate will stay in Viimsi, in Harju County. We decided it 12 years ago in our country planning, and today we could say that we are not dreaming yet. We need the next real steps, and we are in that project in the future. Thank you.
Okay, I think so that I can start to give very big thanks for the project and the people who has been in this project, and they have done excellent work. And this has been a project, and usually it's so that project it starts and then it ends. And to go on the process, I think so that we need very much more discussion, and we need other projects and so on. But I feel rather happy now that we have had and we have done this, and I see that results of this project, they have been positive. And to be honest, it's been said many times, but once more I would like to say so that Finland is an isolated, like an island. And the time distance of 2 hours, it's not much, but it's a framework for, it's a bottleneck for the full twin city development. I know that we can say that Helsinki and Tallinn, they are nowadays real twin city, but it might be so that they can be better after this connection. And of course, the result of this, every corner, every people, also in Finland, will be much closer to the continental Europe if we make this happen. And of course, when we add the Arctic regions to this vision, then we can say that every European will be much closer, for example, to Lapland than nowadays.
you. I think we have time for a couple of questions for now, and then we can continue with interviews. So, any questions?
Sven Seiver from Geofree Estonia. How is your project related to Mr. Vesterbacka projects, or do we have 2 tunnels?
We have one project, and I think, as it was stated in the project, there is always an option for innovation, for new alternative technologies, for alternative routes, for alternative proposals. And those will be presented later this afternoon. But there is one project.
Okay, one more. If not, then...
Can I mention one thing, so that when we discuss about one project and one tunnel, it means 3 tunnels.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm Auri Häkkinen from Sanoma Media Finland and from Rakennuslehti. The biggest question is financing. What kind of business idea you must have for investors so that they are interested in this? Is it Berner or Papa or
I think if I start, I think it's important that we are looking at this broader than just infrastructure. And as I mentioned also in the panel, I think already today infrastructure is a platform for many other services that are data related, service related. And I think we also have to look what kind of possibilities enables immobility, also a tunnel as an infrastructure and as a part that guarantees you access to different parts of the northern Arctic areas or in other parts of Europe. And in this way and this perspective, we will also be depending on what kind of income flows this kind of a tunnel will have. This will also very much determine the different financial structures that will be available to this project. I don't know if Jan, if you want to.
I mean, it's just important to notice that this plan is based on public financing up to 80%. And I think that explains a lot.
Ingrid Simba-Syvämäki, Channel News, Estonia. Question to Mrs. Berner. You said that you will also in the future consult with European Commission. So if you're sitting here and talking about, that means that you have preliminary approval for this project also already having.
Well, I would say that the European Commission has been a part of financing this study. That's one signal. The other is that, as I mentioned, Finland has ongoing discussions on how to extend our core network with the European Commission. This is a part of this discussion, but I think we are still far away from having a commitment or a promise on how much or in which way the European Commission or the European financial instruments are applicable or available for this project. And that's one part of the things that we need to further discuss. And this is not only a Finnish question, this is something that we need to work together with the Estonian government on these questions.
And the timeline, if you see there's a 7-year budget timeline, and what time you see it's next timeline budget? No?
Well, I think that for the time being, for Finland, it's a priority that we have ongoing discussions with the European Commission on how to extend the core network. And whether or not the tunnel can be included in the core network, how it can be extended up to the Arctic areas. This is an ongoing discussion. And I think on other areas of financial instruments, we need to, as we have mentioned several times today, we need to first discuss with each other, governments, cities and regions, in order to form our opinion. And then we need to work also with the Commission. And I think we are now starting this process. We have received the survey today. So we will start studying it in our respective ministries and governments and offices and cities, and then we will come together, and also we have to work together with the European Commission.
So
Okay,
will
so-
our eyes will see that project?
We always see with our eyes. We have to look into the future.
Okay, thank you, ministers and mayors. I think we have lots of interviews coming up, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.